Welcome guys to this special episode of Coding in AL. Today I'm joined by an experienced functional consultant who will guide the beginner in how to get started, because in as much as you want to be a developer or maybe a techno-functional or just a functional consultant, it's good to understand how the system works before trying to embark on the customization or adding extension. So welcome Mr. George Nthale. Please introduce yourself.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Msangi. My name is George Nthale, functional consultant in different ERPs, starting Microsoft products, specifically Dynamics. We also have the Oracle products. So I have a bit of knowledge in implementing the project from start now up to the end. So today I'm going to take you through the BC, Business Central ERP.
Take it over.
Sorry?
I'm saying take it over.
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to start. So now for you to start, we have those basic information in the system, basically the biodata into the system, and we usually start by creating the GL accounts. So for you to create a GL account, you just have to go to the chart of account direct, then you just click on new, and this is the card for creating a GL account. Basically, a GL account is an account which usually holds the information of an organization. For example, you have salary, expenses, net pays, all those deduction and income. So for those accounts, usually create them as GL into the system for the reconciliation purposes, to confirm what has already been posted to that specific entry. So for you to create, this is basically the procedure. We have the number and the name. We have the number. Let me just use another number. Then we have the name. You can say it's a basic pay account. Then after that, you'll be able to populate other information, like you can classify whether it's an income, stock, balance sheet. This one is for the purpose of closing the financial period, so you have to be key. So you have to state whether it's a balance sheet item or an income. Income meaning these are the accounts usually take 1 year, or they can take even less than. We also have the balance sheet, they usually take more than an year. Something like a fixed asset account. So you have to create it as a balance sheet account. We also have the debit, which is basically whether you are going to debit or credit on this account, and it's good to allow both. Because if we say we are going to allow on credit, it means we cannot post debit transaction to that specific account. That is. We also have the account type, whether it's a posting, meaning if it's a posting, means you can add information to that account. We also have the heading, total, begin total. These are basically for the grouping of those accounts. We also have the column for the balance. This one is going to show you the ledger entries, the posted entry, anything which are posted into the system. We call it a ledger entry. So it is going to appear on that specific field. We also have the reconciliation. That one is automatically. We also have the direct posting. This one is going to be used for the purpose of reconciliation. We have accounts which have to report by use of sub-ledger, meaning they have to use another ledger to post to the main ledger. Something like customer, suppliers, we shall create them as sub-ledger. We have only one main account into the chart of account, which is called maybe receivable control account or payable control account for the posting purposes and even for the reconciliation purposes. Because if you are going to produce reports basically for the listing of suppliers, it will tally with your payables account in the chart of account. So basically that's the concept of creating the ledger into the system. Now after you have created that ledger, we also have other information in the system which you're supposed to create, starting with the vendors. Remember, you'll be procuring. Maybe you want to pay an electricity, and before you pay, it's good to invoice. So you'll be able to create that supplier here. into the system. So for you to create, you just click on new. So let us open the existing account so that you can confirm. So basically this is the card for the supplier. As you can see, it has a number, the name, which is descriptive. We also have the balance. As you can see, these are basically the posted entries, and you can open them on a new tab like that to confirm what has been, what are the components of this balance. We also have the address information for the purpose of invoicing. Remember, we want to capture this information on the invoice, and we don't add code, so it's good to populate them on the front end. We also have the contact information, that is basically the contact person. Then we also have the invoicing details, whereby we are mapping these suppliers account now to the control account in the chart of account. That is. Also, as you can see, you can attach pictures for the reference purposes. So basically, that's all about the vendor's account, how to create it into the system. We also have the creation of the bank's account in the system. Remember, we'll be doing a transaction, and it's good. You have an external bank account, so it's good to also to create it into the system for the reconciliation purposes. Remember, your system is for the reconciliation only, to monitor maybe the payment you have done by use of your core bank, which is basically bank in a certain area. So it's also good to create it in this. As you can see, these are basically the list of the banks. So you can just create a new bank account. So we have the number. So the number you'll be able to state, maybe you can say it's BNK 001, country. Then you also have the bank name. You can say it's core bank. Then we also have the branch, so you'll be able to populate the branch. Then we also have the communication details, which are basically the address, and the posting details, because these are the banks, and the banks will treat them as subledger, so it's good to map them to a specific posting account. That is, we can say, let's use that one. Then we also have the currency. Remember, you'll be operating by use of multi currencies, so it's also good to map a specific bank to a certain currency. Also, you can leave it blank the way it is. We also have these last statement number. These are key for the purpose of reconciliation. So you'll be able to document maybe the first number will be 0, then the system will increment those information, that is. So basically, that's our bank card, and by use of this bank, we can do cash receipt journal, as you can see here. So for the cash, basically to receive, maybe you have sold something, you want to receive an income. So this is basically the journal of receiving. It will give you the date, the document type. As you can see, the document number. At the time of posting any entry into the system, it's good to assign the document number for reference purposes. Then at this point, you'll be able now to select it's an income from which account. As you can see, it's an income from which account. So we can select one of the account here. Maybe you can say we have sold our motor vehicle here. Let me select an account which allows the direct posting. So we can say maybe it's other receivable. Let's post that transaction to other receivable. So we are going to use this account to confirm what has been posted, how we usually post information to this specific account. So we can key in the amount we say it's 100. Then now we have our balance in account, which is basically the bank, and it's our bank account, as you can see. On this point, this is the bank account, this one, WBC operating account. So after that, now you'll be able now to post that transaction. You can test report, basically a print preview before we post, or you can just post it. The system will allow you to do all those. Yes. As you can see, the system will ask you, do you want to post into the system? Now the journal has been posted, so we'll go back to the chart of account and they show you on how to confirm whether you have posted those entry into the system. Yes. For example, if we go to this account, I think this was our account, not this one. It was an operating account, so we'll go back there. Okay, so that's all about the bank. The other thing which I want us to check on is basically on the customers, how to create the customers into the system. Basically, for the customers, you expect something from someone who you expect something from. So it's also good to create those accounts into the system. Then after now you have created, you'll be able now to initiate this transaction. And for you to create a customer, it's so easy. So you go to customer up here, the customer. We can try to open one of the account. So this is the card for the customer. It has a number. Then we also have the name of that customer, so you'll be able to populate all the information. We also have the addresses for the purpose of invoicing. Then now we have the posting group. At this point, where we have the invoicing functionality, this is whereby you're going to map that customer to a certain GL in the chart of account, and then we call those settings. They are basically posting group into the system. Yeah. So posting group are basically extension to the chart of account, which is basically the backbone of the organization. Those are different accounts, how to create those accounts in the system before you go ahead and do the transaction. We also have mastering of items into the system. So you'll be able to create maybe those consumable items, something like ring papers. You're in an office and you want to purchase ring paper. So it's before you purchase, you have to create them into the system. And for you to create, just go to the items, then you click on new. After you have clicked on new, the system has this categorization whereby, let's say we want to create it as a miscellaneous account. So basically, this is the page. So you'll be able to populate the information. You can say that you can call it printing papers. It's an inventory. We have the basic unit of measure, also the category, and we have said the key thing is basically the posting codes, because these are basically their sub accounts. So it's good for you to link this account to a specific posting group. If you have not assigned this posting group, then at the time of procuring, you'll not be able to post, because the system will throw an error and tell you this account does not have a posting group. Because for the system to allow any posting, which is basically a journal, we must have a debit and a credit account. And those accounts, they come direct from the chart of account. So it's good to come here and assign those posting groups. So that's how to create an item into the system. So the first thing to do is to understand which account you want to create, because you cannot proceed without creating that account into the system. So let me just talk you to the journal. I show you how to do different type of journal. So we can say we can start with the general journal. We can say we have to use this template. So it's basically the default. So as you can see, we have the batch. This is basically the template which holds an information. You can create so many batches into the system, basically to hold different information. Anytime you are posting information to the system, we usually use something called a batch, basically to hold that information. And a batch, it's a specific template which has a document number which is unique. for that specific transaction. We also have the posting date into the system. We also have the currency, so you'll be able to select which currency am I using at the time of posting this transaction. Then down here, you'll be able now to stage. I'm doing a journal. I want to affect my my salary account. Let me use this account. We used this. Maybe let's use this account, the receivable. Then you say you're going to debit that account by that amount. We also had another line down here. It's just the same. You can use the same account. You can say receipt from activity heads. Then we can say this one is a credit amount of 127. Then down here, we can also have another account, as you can see, which is basically now the bank. This is the bank which is basically now paying this transaction. Or you can balance with another GL account, like let's use 23. This one is our bank. The option is our bank. Okay, so select a bank. We are paying by use of this bank, which is bank number 1, Coop Bank. Then now after that, as you can see down here, you'll be able to confirm the balance. As you can see, our account, these are the total credit, total debit, and these are the total credit. And now you cannot post because it is not balancing. For you to post a journal, it has to balance. In fact, we can try to post this transaction, but it will not go through because you can confirm it is out of balance by a credit of 154 shilling. That is. So for that control, you'll not be able to post, and that's a key functionality into the system. So we can just try to post. Let's post. As you can see, it's basically the message. So the system itself, it's an intelligent tool, so it will be able to tell you. So it's good to balance your transaction before you post into the system. So we can say we are balancing by 8.59. 8.59. And you can see now our journal has balanced. So now you'll be able to post your transaction. For you to post, we have this posting functionality, so it will be able to allow you to post into the system. That is, yeah. So you can give. So as you can see, we have posted that transaction to the system. So if we go to the chart of account, or we can go to the bank, we'll be able to confirm those posting into the system. Remember, we created a certain bank into the system. It was Coop Bank, this bank, and we have used this bank to do a transaction of a credit of 8.59, and you can see that transaction here. So you'll be able to drill down and confirm what has been posted, basically the entry, the ledger entry into the system. And you can also navigate more. You can check the ledger entry, basically what are the debit and the credits relating to that specific account by just clicking on navigate. So for you to click on navigate, it will show you more entries, basically the entry you have posted. As you can see, this was our channel, so it will be able to pull for you all the information. So the system does not allow deletion, so you'll be able to confirm those information. Yeah. Also, we have the fixed asset functionality to manage the list of fixed asset to the system. So for this one, you'll be able to create new fixed asset before you purchase. Maybe you have a need of buying something like a laptop, something like a car. So the first thing to do, you create it into the system, like this one. We have this Mercedes. So you'll be able to populate the information. We have the class, the subclass. These are basically the posting group of the fixed asset. Then we also have the serial numbers, also go to capture. As you can see, it's here. We also have the site description, the responsible who is assigned that specific asset into the system. Then after that, you will also be able to save that information to the system. Then now you can now proceed and procure, because you have created a Mercedes. Now what is basically pending is now to restart purchase invoice into the system, so that now you can pay. So for you to do that, you just go to purchase order, then you initiate a new purchase order. You can just open one of the transaction here. This is basically an example of a purchase order. So down here, we'll be able now to state, up there we have the point of selecting the supplier. You are buying from which supplier. Then down here, you'll be able now to indicate, I'm purchasing a Mercedes. And a Mercedes, it's a fixed asset account. So you'll be able to select it. You select. After that, you'll be able now to populate quantity you want. We want only one. Then you'll be able now to key in the amount. You can say it's something like 13 million. That way. So you'll be able to populate. Once now you are finalized with that one, you'll be able now to send this document maybe for approval. In the system, we have a make a checker, whereby you initiate a transaction. It goes for approval. Once it has been approved, it will be posted into the system. So for you now to post, just go to posting, then you post that transaction, so that now it can affect your fixed asset account, which is Mercedes, for the reference purposes. So basically, that's all for the fixed asset into the system. We also have another key functionality called budget. So for the budget, we'll be able to create budget into the system, and this one, it is used to do an analysis in the system. Anything you are posting, that's an actual figure, and maybe you want to do an analysis. If you want to do an analysis, you have to create a budget into the system. You populate all the information, basically the amount budgeted for which period. You'll be able to budget in different ways, maybe in quarterly, in monthly, or in yearly. So you'll be able to do all that. Once you have done, you'll be able to save your budget. Then now you'll be able now to go to the reports, basically to show the analysis, to show the comparison in between the actual, in between the budgeted versus what has already been incurred. And what has been incurred is the information which have been posted into the ledgers. If you go to the ledgers, as you can see, we have the column for the balance, as you can see. So basically, this one, it means these are the posted entries into the system. Yeah. And that posted entry is what we call an actual figure into the system. You can also export this information into Excel, as you can see up here, for analysis purposes. Okay, so I think I'll stop there. I'll start and guided by Msangi on the way forward. Back to Msangi.
Okay, yeah. That was a very good overview and brief overview, and very detailed. I have seen you have really touched most of the parts of the system. I believe, yeah, this is enough for a beginner to consume. So maybe we can even give them time maybe to see. We'll see the feedback from this video, and if there is need for another session, then maybe we can organize for that. Thank you very much. There was detailed entry into the chart of accounts, vendors, customers, fixed assets, items, postings, bank accounts, and budgets. Anyway, that was a good overview of Business Central. So for those who are trying to start using Business Central, or the ones who are already using it, this is a good or an important aspect to master, the functional aspect, which George is a master of it. So I really appreciate your presence here, and I think we can maybe pick it up from there next time in our next maybe live webinar. Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Sure, guys. I think we'll wrap it up from there, and we'll see if there's a topic that we haven't covered in detail. If we want to cover it more, we will do that maybe next time. So, George, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Much welcome, everyone, and have a nice time.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.